If you aren't naturally tired at night and excited in the morning, then you probably haven't found something meaningful to work on. You are not stressed from doing too much. You are stressed from doing too little of what you care about.
See, the thing about life, we're gonna die, right? Eventually we're gonna die, but our legacy can live on. The impact can be non-perishable forever, but it's gotta be built right. And we gotta take advantage of the time we have right now. If you want it bad enough, you find a way. If you don't want it bad enough, you find an excuse.
I failed. Why do we force? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
And it's just a reminder that regardless of how successful we may be or how successful we're not, but we want to be, we always want to be the hardest workers in the room. It always leads with hard work. There's no substitution for hard work. Thus, working out at 11 o'clock at night when I know my competition is asleep.
You know, if you're not being who you truly are, all of your successes will feel hollow because people aren't in love with you. They're just applauding the role that you play. And you're always, at best, the closest that you get is being 1 degree removed from your successes. And much of the time, you're 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees removed from it because it's okay.
I have a big vision. I put a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice in things I do. If I don't do it, it means I don't believe in it. In this, I believe very strong, and I will not give up until I'm top of the world. So that's the way it works. You aim for the top, you don't aim for the second. Second place is the first place among the last ones, and that's not my target.
My test is very simple. Does the sacrifice feel worth it? If the sacrifice feels worth it, because there's some higher goal you're trying to achieve, some higher purpose, not even goal, a higher purpose you're trying to achieve, then you better show up the grit and you keep going. But if it just doesn't feel worth it anymore, it doesn't feel like I'm contributing to something bigger than myself, then it's time to move on.
It doesn't take a fragrance. It's not about the tabloids. It's about you putting in the work, practicing every day, practicing your vocals, practicing your instrument, practicing songwriting. And hopefully one day you write the song, you know, the whole world wants to get down to. And I promise you, one day you're gonna have your moment to shine.
I wish more people, I'm gonna flip the word, were more involved with themselves.
Embrace your Icarus.
Instead of self-involved, that has a bad term. I wish people were more involved with themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're more deficient. Believe in yourself or invest in yourself. Do more of what you can to be great at a craft or a vocation or to get what you want.
If you want to find purpose, you have to take accountability for your life. And what I mean by that is like no one can bestow it upon you. No one can just give you a purpose. It is within you and it is there to be discovered, right? But at the same time, everything that happens to us in our lives, we have to say, okay, how did I contribute to this? How am I responding to this? How can I make this bad situation better? What did I do to make the situation happen?
To get anything of value, you have to sacrifice.
I know that, Dad, but I think if we continue down this road, it's going to be too detrimental for the kids. It's just too hard.
Do you know that the harder thing to do and the right thing to do are usually the same thing? Nothing that has meaning is easy. Easy doesn't enter into grown-up life.
I learned so much about how far I can push myself, and if I set a goal, you know, making that a 3.5-hour show in the beginning of the tour, it's like you can't like be sick one day and then decide tonight it's going to be 2.5 hours.
When I looked at TV, I saw Serie A, for example, I saw all the big players, and I say, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's the mentality. If somebody else can do it, you can do it. And I said to myself, I will do it and I will do it better. That's the mentality. And I believe with the mentality is 50% of the success in what you're doing.
We all fail in life. We all hit failure. It's the way in which you handle failure that you find out if it destroys you or not. Because last I looked, failure is temporary. Giving up, that's permanent.
You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to, you may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kinds of ways. And it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
When that opportunity knocks and you can become something successful in life, you got to push forward. Like even with myself, I had to make a decision when I was a drug dealing gangbanger. Am I gonna become a rapper and leave this behind when I'm getting this money and, you know, this ghetto superstardom? Or do I really want to become a real star and let that go and push it to the limit and say, I'm not finna eat, I'm not finna get no money, I'm not finna do nothing but put my faith in this. And I did, and 20-some years later, I can say, all right, this was a great decision.
I think of myself as the greatest person that I can be, that's it. I'm not gonna go out on out on a limb and say I'm the greatest this or that. I was a kid with a dream, that's it. And the people before me set the bar so high, and I was a little kid that wasn't afraid to dream as big as I could. And that's really it. Like you said, like we were talking before, I was dedicated, I was hardworking, and that put me in the shoes where I am now.
As you grow, you don't fit in with your friends, but this means that they don't fit in with you either. This causes a reaction from their side too. The hardest part of changing yourself isn't just improving your own habits, it's escaping the people who keep handing you your old costume. Others don't just remember who you were, they enforce it, which is why reinvention so often feels like trying to break out of a prison that you can't see.
I think the more art you create, hopefully the less pressure you put on yourself. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. If you keep making stuff, you just keep making stuff and hopefully you get better at it. It doesn't have to be so, you don't have to belabor it and polish the doorknob so long that you forget to open the door.
Don't get ahead or behind it. And I can get in a rush. And I haven't found, look, and I know how to hustle, and let's go. The clock's ticking, we're all behind, all hands on deck. We got to bust ass, no time for pause. There's no sleep, no nothing. Get the caffeine out, let's go. Sometimes we got to do that.
If you listen and you focus and you step out your comfort zone, you can achieve anything in life. Like I was nothing about 3 years ago. I'm here now. So I think if you listen and you focus and you just step out your comfort zone a little bit, who cares if you get embarrassed, you know? Anything can be impossible, but a big thanks to my parents.
I wanted to be in show business, and I just happened to luck out and things happen. I think if you know what you're supposed to do, deep down inside, I think everybody does, and a lot of people just don't go after it, you know? Like most people start out, they say, I want to be a this, but I'm going to get that to make sure I have something to fall back on. And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're going, there's a possibility that I'm going to fall back. And when you put that out there, then you fall back. But if you just say, hey, this is what I want to do, and you go do it, you usually get your stuff the way you want it, man. That's what...
I want to win. So the people say, no, is it when you play build up or try to, no, I want to win. I want to play serious. I want to be effective. I don't do that to be, I want to play build up. No. I make a build up to convince the players, but that is, you have more consequence, positive than negative. If I believed and you do that and it's not productive for the team, I would not do that. But I was a football player and manager, and always when I do that, I would score a lot of goals, I concede few. And that's why I believe in that.
Important for me. I'm always a competitive player. Not just in the games, I'm in the training, I'm like that. In the home, with my sisters, with my mom, with my nephews, I'm always try to competitive hard and try to win. I'm like that. You know, I never change because I like this. I like what I do. I like my life. I'm a happy person. So competitive is part of my life. So in Madeira, in Madrid, in England, I always want to win. I'm always a competitive person. So it's part of me.
They're in a very different position now to what they were at the beginning. And the summary is model the rise, not the result.
I like that.
Model the rise, not the result, because the result is where they're at now. Do not ask Warren Buffett about how long he spends reading the newspaper and poring over old books. That guy was a hustler. He was a hustler when he was young. What did you do when you were at the stage that I am at? Not what do you do now? Because I want to get to where you are. That means I don't do what you do now. Right. I do what you did to get there. Model the rise, not the result.
Love that.
people measure success with, obviously in my field, by trophies, by medals, by the success that I have had over my career. Personally, I measure success on, have I had a good time? Have I had fun? Have I reached the goals that I wanted to reach when I was 8 or 9 years old? I wanted to captain my country. I wanted to represent my country in a World Cup. I wanted to win the FA Cup, you know.
What is it that I could have done better, or what worked? And really my references, I go back to myself and trying to better myself. So I'm really tough on me, more so than anyone else. I'm not a competitive person that walks in thinking about other people and how I can compete with them.
That's just not normal, guys. And what's not normal is what your body doesn't know. When your body doesn't know what it is, it's forced to adapt. That adaptation leads to growth. Only weak in life go after things and attempt things they already know they can achieve. You gotta do something you're not quite sure of. Try something new if you want to switch it up. That's where growth comes, man. That's where your body's forced to adapt.
I'm arrogant in the way that people think. I'm confident. I have a big confidence. I believe in myself. That's not being arrogant. That's something that's, I believe it's an individual strength in the human being. I have confidence. I believe in myself, and I have a vision, and I do everything, and I work hard for it. And I don't believe that's arrogant.
I just go back to that time when I was young and I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. And once I finally grabbed a hold to what I wanted to do, which was this music thing, and I loved every minute of it, despite me not being able to make money or have a career, I had to believe in myself. And I want to say that to the youngsters out there that's watching, you know, believe in anything that you believe in, but have the most believe in it yourself. Whether it's being a doctor, a lawyer, or a chemist, or whatever it is, you have to believe yourself. And then once you believe, the dream will come true, and then people will believe in you. That's what dreams are made of. You have to believe in it, and then the dream can't come to life.
And so if you're in that moment right now, you have to recognize you're in that moment and let that give you hope that you will make it, bro. It might not happen this year. It might take 2 or 3 more years. Some people it takes decades, but everybody's process is different. So most important thing is don't compare. Next nigga did it in 2 years, that's okay. It might take you 2 decades. It doesn't mean yours is any less valuable. The comparison, man, is the thief of joy. So just lock in, man, enjoy that process, and that destination is gonna be so much sweeter.
I see you. You are everything the world needs. Make those power moves. Be excellent. And to the young kings, lean into your vulnerability and redefine masculinity. Lead with heart. There's so many different ways to be brilliant. I believe you and every human being is born with a masterful gift. Don't make the world make you feel that you have to look a certain way to be brilliant. And no, you don't have to speak a certain way to be brilliant. But you do have to spread your gift around the planet in a way that is authentically you.
Viktor Frankl has this famous quote where he says, when a man can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. So Frankl is arguing that a lack of meaning causes people to seek temporary relief in superficial pursuits rather than addressing the underlying existential void. And perhaps for many, maybe even most people, this is a big issue. But there is another group who suffer with the opposite problem, and this is Frankl's inverse law. When a man can't find a deep sense of pleasure, they distract themselves with meaning.
But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where the started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, hey, I'm f***ed up. I'm gonna go back and fix this stuff.
You got to be honest with yourself
100%
about where you're at.
100%.
People don't like that.
Oh, it's ugly.
Yeah.
And what's funny about it is that as you're trying to fix yourself and dig yourself out of this deep hole that life, society, and you helped also. Those people who you saw down there in that hole who were there with you, who are your friends and people who you counted on, because you meet the people in the same situation that you're in life. Those people become your friends. And the second you try to get out of that situation and become better, those people are in that grave, in that dungeon, just yanking at your heels, man, saying, get the f back. Oh no, come on back here.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna make me feel like
Right.
you getting out of this hole.
Who the do you think you are?
The most dangerous type of lie in the universe is the one that has the most truth in it. The most dangerous people out there are people who take a lie and wrap it all up in truth and deceive you. Andrew Tate likes to call himself the most dangerous man in the world. But he cannot be the most dangerous man in the world because he's currently the loudest man in the world. And the dangerous man is never the loudest man.
I sit with kids and they turn around and say, how can we be professional footballers? The one thing I always say to them is, A, you have to enjoy yourself. You have to have fun playing football. If you want to be a professional footballer, then you have to have fun. But more importantly, you have to be dedicated. You have to make sacrifices. And I think sacrifices was probably one of the most important things for me because, I was as a young kid living in London, friends, going out on a Friday night. But I made a sacrifice of staying in, watching Match of the Day on a Saturday evening, and I had a game on the Sunday, so I was in bed early. And, those kind of things, for young kids are important.
Life isn't always so fresh or so easy. But what's inside of there? A lot of groceries and stuff you buy, right? You got the milk, you got the, your fruits and vegetables and stuff. And all that stuff, man, very perishable. What does that mean? I mean, when you buy it, you better eat that otherwise it goes bad. There's a shelf life to it, a time trial. Use it or lose it. And if you don't use it, then your investment in that product, you don't quite reap all the reward of that.
To sell them belief and faith that they will be served in the next. And what if there is nothing there, man? What if there's nothing to hope for? What if there's no next? I don't know. But either way, in misery here or without a heaven there, not having any hope or faith in anything is a certain way to remain where you are forever. But if you can find something that you can keep going, something that no matter how small to look forward to and continually have faith in and chase, well, then your life here is gonna be better now.
The best advice I can give you is go make some noise, These MCs right here was doing their thing before I got with them. That's what made it easy for me to get out with them. I didn't have to teach them how to be who they are. You got to find out who you are and be the best at that. And once you master at who you are, being great at that, eventually somebody like myself will come across you and be able to give you that opportunity. Or you just may make it on your own. Some stars are born. You don't need people like me to make you when you're a born star. So I just want to inspire those out there that watching what we're doing, seeing what we're doing, just look at the positivity of what we're doing.
The best thing in the world is your mind. Your mindset, how you can picture yourself, how you can focus, how you can drive, how you can put yourself in so many situations, get out of it. Because those headphones we listen to, those phones that we Google to find information, there's so many situations in my life where that's not gonna help me. It's not gonna help me.
And you're able to just turn that off.
So fast, because I know what's helped me. None of that stuff's ever helped me. None of that stuff's ever helped me. What has helped me has been me alone, getting my shit together and being accountable for who I'm not and who I want to be. It's the only thing that's helped me.
Is the effort worth it? Is the hours you put in worth it? You're not seeing much progress, but you're putting in pain. But you see people on the internet, they're enjoying their life. It looks like everybody's winning but you. In those moments, you gotta remind yourself it's a process. And when you make it to the destination, you won't be happy you made it there. You'll be happy that you went through that process that helped you get there. So if you're in that process right now, which a lot of you are gonna be, you gotta remember that's the joy. Those are the moments. That's the shit. When you look back at life, you be like, damn, nigga, we were there.
He says, when the world denies us that which we want, we retreat into ourselves, in a kind of spiritual depth, into a sort of inner citadel. Basically, if you can't get what you want, you teach yourself to want what you can get.
Okay.
So, for instance, you damage your leg in a battle, and you can try to fix the leg, in which case you're fine. Or if you fail, you chop your leg off and announce that the desire for legs is misguided and must be subdued. Right? This is a retreat in spiritual depth. This is asceticism on steroids. By not trying to play the game, there is no risk of failure.
I could see myself, I could visualize myself clearly. To be a champion,
on that same stage where he won the Mr. Universe, and then to move to America, then get into movies, and then become rich and famous. I had that vision very clearly laid out. I was so happy that I knew exactly where I was going. From that moment on, everything that I did, no matter how hard I had to work or how much I had to struggle, it didn't matter. It was a wonderful joyride because I knew what the purpose was and I found my passion. The simple truth is, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a goal, if you don't see your future laid out in front of you, you're just floating around without a purpose.
The one thing that made me who I am today is being vulnerable. It's breaking myself down to the absolute rock bottom and being able to tell people who I am. And that's how I fixed it. Literally, being able to look somebody in the eye and say, you know what, man, I have a whole bunch of character problems, character flaws. I've lied about this. I've cheated here. I'm insecure here. This isn't the real me. I lied to you about that. I wanted your acceptance in life. All those things happen, but the thing about it is that we get judged so quickly by who we are. We don't know. We don't go to where it happened. You know, life created this person, me. Life created me to be this person that I was back in the day.
Moment in life later that is built upon failure. Same with success. Success is never gotten on the first time usually. It's failure to failure to failure, learning from your failures from one to another to another. You know, trying, even if you get knocked down, you continue to try and continue to try. Ensuring you never fail to try. It's that mentality. It's the mentality, bring it on. I can take it. You can't break this. I'm stronger than you think I am. And everything you throw at me and all the hardships you throw at me, you might knock me down, but I get back up and I'll be stronger for it. It's that mentality that builds an iconic status that centuries from now people still talk about.
Let's say I will never turn down a challenge. So when this challenge came, when it was presented to me, I would never turn down. I'm not like many others where they sit good, they have it good, and they know they can perform at top, and they will never change. But me, I'm opposite. I will take the challenge and I will go for it. I will work hard. I will sacrifice, and then what the outcome becomes, we'll have to wait and see. But turn down a challenge, it doesn't exist in my world. I've been in every country with England now, and that is what I find the adventure cool, because I came, I won, and I went.
I sat down at the table and I said to myself, what are you willing to give up? Everything. And when people come to me with that kind of mindset, I can work with you. When you are willing to strip yourself down to nothing and give everything, that's who I want to work with. Because now I can mold you into exactly who you want to be. When you put these restrictions up, and that's why my first question is, how bad do you want this? If it's as bad as you want to live or breathe or sleep, whatever the hell it may be, I can work with you.
You now have a loose overall framework within which you can explore and find those angles and positions that suit you best. You listen closely to yourself, to your internal radar. Some parts of that framework, for me, journalism and Hollywood, do not feel right. And so you move on, slowly narrowing your path, all the while accumulating skills. Most people want simple, direct, straight-line paths to the perfect position and to success. But instead, you must welcome wrong turns and mistakes. They make you aware of your flaws. They widen your experiences. They toughen you up.
I know how hard it is to step out and bet on yourself. There was a pivotal turning point in my life when I chose to build my own company many years ago. I had to trust that I was ready and that my parents and mentors provided me with the tools I needed to be successful. But that was terrifying. The entertainment business is still very sexist. It's still very male-dominated, And as a woman, I did not see enough female role models given the opportunity to do what I knew I had to do. To run my label and management company, to direct my films and produce my tours. That meant ownership, owning my masters, owning my art, owning my future, and writing my own story.
You have not been able to listen to me waffle on about emotions and feelings and introspection and mindfulness and moments of peace and a realistic path to enlightenment if you do not do the reflection thing. But also, there's way too much Hormozi pilled, go and end world's Goggins mode Jocko stuff for you to not also aim high. So I think I can make a fair assumption, even though I don't know you, that you're the sort of person who reflects and aspires at the same time. And this is where this comes into land. It meets reality when you want to feel supported without feeling broken, like you're able to open up without being judged, like you believe that you can be more without feeling like you're not enough already, like your suffering is recognized and appreciated without being pandered to or patronized and made to feel weak.
If you start to change your mindset versus it being like, oh my God, this sucks, I became a professional bud student. So I wasn't gonna leave until I graduated. So I started realizing if this is my home, this is what I am, I had to always reset the bar. I had to reset my new norm. There always had to be a new norm. So one thing we don't do is we don't have a new norm. My new norm is you get up every morning at 4 o'clock and you suffer. This is your new norm. That became my new life. Most people want to get out of it. I said, no, this is your new life. This is who you are. Your new norm is you wake up and you suffer. And I started realizing if that's my mentality, this shit ain't hard anymore.
People don't make excuses. Some of the best athletes, or the greatest athletes in the world, do things when they're uncomfortable. You know, everybody can compete when they're feeling good, happy, excited, rested, but it's the best people who can overcome when they're tired, sore, not in the great mind, you know, not in the best mindset. And I think mental power that the greatest athletes have can push all the pain aside. You know, and I mean, like when I was doing that Navy SEALs thing, was it easy for me to do it? No. Was it easy for me to climb over a 45-foot wall and look down? Not at all, and I'm afraid of heights. But, you know, I said to myself, I'm going to do this and no one's going to stop me. And I think that's the biggest thing, is how strong you can be mentally. So I think that really shows who the person is. So I think that's one thing that separates the good from the greatest.
People really don't know you. Who is the people to judge something that they don't know? Of course, it's something that I don't like, but I have to live with that. I cannot change. I cannot change my personality. I cannot change my character. I cannot change my education. You know, I respect the people, but of course I don't agree, because the real people who know me, he knows who is Cristiano, you understand? So I cannot change the mind of the other people. Maybe sometimes in the pitch, I show something that the people don't want or don't like, but this is my kind of way to thinking, because I'm an ambitious person. I don't smile a lot in the pitch because I try to be focused. But in one point, I really understand some people, because, you know, in a life, we have always the people who judge us. But I think sometimes this is not fair, but, you know, we have to live with that.
I was nowhere near that feeling. I was able to put myself there 1,000,000 times every day. And that feeling of like, my God, that is going to feel amazing. That's what made me suffer. That's what allowed the pain to be real and say, this is worth it. I want to feel for this next 18 months. It took me 18 months to finally become a Navy SEAL, to finally, you know, just get through buds. 18 months, it's 6 months. It took me 18. That's what woke me up every morning, was I'm gonna put myself through this much pain and suffering for a few seconds. That's all it is. A few seconds of joy. And it's so worth it, man. That's what people don't get. So I'm able to put myself at the finish line, even though I have no finish line, but at the finish line of an event before I even start the and say, how are you gonna feel at the end of this?